we had some lacks in our laws and regulation, okay, and our government is trying to fill these lacks to be complying with international norms and standards. So the first project law is on tax information between countries. And this is an OCDE new standard, and so we are complying now with this OECD's requirement. Also we introduced a lot of change of amendment to our anti-money laundering financing of terrorism law, the fundamental, the basic law 318 of 2001. We are amending it. We had in this law maybe 7 financial crimes described in this law, and now we extended them to 17. And just also to comply with international standards in this area, and we added, for example, to give you an example, we added the intellectual property crime as a crime in this new law, a new amendment, to be able to fight this intellectual property, to protect the intellectual property rights. And this standard is very important for the United States, and I think what we amended in this law 318 is very important to comply with international standards. And the third one is, as you were telling, is about the cross-border cash transportation. And it was not, we didn't had until now any obligation to report or to disclose cash amounts introduced to the country. And when this new project law will be enacted, we will be in line with the international standard. And we retained, I think, the amount like the European, a minimum of $15,000, and all amounts exceeding 15,000 should be reported. So I think we are moving on in the area of complying with international standards. And as I told you, our central bank issued a very important, for the first time, a very important circular. It's circular 126 on 2012, and it's a very recent circular, 2 weeks ago. And this circular ask our banks to comply with the sanctions on countries like Syria or Iran. So this ask our bankers to comply with the sanctions implemented by our correspondent banks. And if we are dealing, to give you an example, if we are dealing with US bank or with an European bank, with Deutsche Bank or with JP Morgan, and if Deutsche and JP Morgan are complying with the US and the EU sanctions against Syria and Iran, indirectly our bankers will be obliged to comply with. So it's a way to really to implement sanctions voted by EU and US. Clear all this, our bankers before this circular were respecting by self-decision, were without being covered by any laws or regulation. We were respecting the sanctions, the US and the EU sanctions against Syria and Iran ourselves without being obliged to. But with this new circular, we have our regulator is giving us a regulatory, a legal cover, legal coverage in what we are doing. Politically speaking, maybe our government is not willing or unable to circulate, to enact a law obliging the financial sector to respect this kind of sanctions, because they are not issued by the United States, they are not issued by the United Nations. So our government don't want to issue laws or regulation on this, because they are not international sanctions. They are sanctions decided by some countries. So I think by this way, the central bank is issuing this new regulation to fill the gap, the political gap in the country.